Good afternoon, Dr. Henry. Welcome to School of Management Sciences. It's been great having you here.
Well, thank you for inviting me and my colleagues. And for a long time, I wished to come to be here at SMS to see an institution that we were already in partnership with and to visit an institution that we have had students, faculty, to visit, and of course vice versa. So thank you for inviting me.
So how was your experience in this seminar at Spirituality Conference, and how do you rate the effort that SMS is doing in this direction, and what is the future that you see for this?
Well, you know, it's exciting being a part of, I would say, a new initiative, an attempt to create a new paradigm in terms of a spiritual paradigm for addressing what is really a global management issue and the crises that we see in the United States and throughout the world. And I just applaud and congratulate SMS for its initiative in doing this. And we're pleased to be a part of that. I see that given the presenters and the speakers and the guests who are in attendance today, along with the scholars who have an interest in this initiative, I see the possibility of creating a new paradigm, and we're excited to be a part of it.
That's great. What does spirituality mean to you? How do you define spirituality, and how do you relate to it?
Well, spirituality for me is really getting how one gets in touch with oneself and one's inner feeling. With me, it's knowing, you know, who I am. It's about knowing my purpose. It is about knowing about service to others. And of course, the bottom line of spirituality is how do I know who I am, what my purpose is, and how I use my gifts and talents to improve the conditions of humanity throughout the world.
Do you think that, like the things that you mentioned about spirituality, do they have the potential of solving the global management crisis, or what are the kind of crises which can be resolved through understanding of this particular concept and implementing it maybe in our education system or in corporate world?
I think it's certainly important for us to try something different. I mean, we've seen the results of what has been the practice and thinking in management, so I think it is important to try something different to get different results. I believe that we're all here to serve, and I believe that aligning one's purpose with needs, not just the bottom line in terms of profit, but when corporations are formed, they should see themselves as being here to serve, to help people, to do all the good they can, not just for the shareholders, but also for humanity, the people in the communities. And I'm hoping that more thoughtfulness will be involved in the training of managers and the management for the future, that there will be topics and discussions on passion, compassion, and serving others, topics on being aligned spiritually with what it is you're supposed to do, because even if a manager is doing but is not spiritually aligned with what he's doing, I think the result is not going to be good. And I think also in terms of this whole idea of spirituality must also come the notion of diversity and inclusiveness and what it will be necessary for us to succeed globally. And that is diversity in terms of people, their various religions, and what they bring to humanity.
Well, that brings me to another question. Like in this global organization, where you have people from all the ethnicity, different countries, having different values, different systems, and when they are working together, how can a common connect be designed or defined which can be implemented universally in an organization? Is there a possibility of doing such thing, and how can that be implemented?
I think there is a possibility, because as one looks at the diversity of religions and cultures around the world, I think a part of, and I hope a part of what this conference is about, is looking for those commonalities. You know, what do we share in common? And I would venture to guess that as we look at different religions, we will find compassion. as something that you will find in common. I think that you will find commitment to service and serving others and leading as servant leaders. I think you will find that as a commonality. I think you will find that the common thread throughout religions will be helping to improve the human conditions. And I think we can go on, and I'm certain there'll be many, many more commonalities and threads found as we go out through this seminar. I think they're there. We simply need to lift them up and to apply them as we train managers and leaders for the future.
But there is a challenge when we implement such things in curriculum and courses and the programs, that they become just another subject, and nobody knows the goodness of the content. Content is all right, but when it is implemented just like another subject, people appear in the examination, they qualify the examination, but the content somewhere is lost. It doesn't go inside. So what can be done so that this particular subject doesn't end being just another subject when implementing?
I think something should be, we should be looking at some things that we're looking at our university. For example, in our Visionary Leadership Institute, which will involve all of our students, and of course with the common theme of preparing visionary leaders who are committed to improving human conditions throughout the world. I think not just in terms of the theoretical aspects of it, but also getting students, while they're still students, involved in the practical aspects of it, and following and hopefully having some way, and we are looking at this, some way of measuring and staying in touch with our graduates as they go into management and the like, and getting feedback and helping them to continue to grow. And sometimes we call it continuing education, but I think the education and the continuing education must be there, supported by the universities and supported by its graduates and leaders that is throughout the world. I think we must not just simply be contented with the fact that students have matriculated, they've studied the curriculum, and now they have a degree and they've gone on and they have a great career. We should be equally as concerned about assessing how effective are we in staying connected with those leaders. We will have, for example, our graduates to take a pledge and a commitment to be selfless servants as they go forward, and we will stay in touch to see that they are indeed living out this edict that they are taking at the university. And if we have to make adjustments to improve upon that, we will. But I think assessment and connection beyond just the graduation, universities throughout, I think, must do that.
But the challenge which I think is there, like the people which we get, the students that we get in our B schools are generally like old enough to have new values being instilled in them. So how, like, there's a lot of unlearning process which is to be implemented. So the practically implementing it so that the things, this value thing goes inside a person's behavior and attitude. I think this is what you're looking at. So how it is to be implemented? Do you have some kind of model or idea through which we can inculcate these things, just not being motherhood statements, good statements?
I think it begins with practice. I think that as students, when students, no matter what the age, I think that there are various practical service learning kinds of programs that students can be engaged in, and that is while they're there, getting involved in the community for a purpose, getting involved in the community in a way that will relate to their careers when they leave the institutions, and just simply hoping that the university will always be there to help students and graduates to build on their purpose in life and build on their value system. And I just believe that as universities, we have to be, it has to be more than just the academic purpose, that there has to be instilled in the graduates a commitment to service, a commitment for social justice, a commitment to spirituality. I think it's an obligation of institutions to find ways of knowing, yes, we can be successful, and if we're not, what do we need to change to make that happen? But it has to begin not just with the curriculum, but also with the service components and those applicable components that students get involved with. I believe it can happen.
Right. And in these schools, we train people for corporate world, and we talk about materialism. So materialism and spiritualism, these are two ends. Do you think really they can get connected, or these are two ends starkly opposite to each other? So how can you devise a connect between these two things? Like we are training people to be materialistic, to sell products for the organizations, sell solutions for people, which is absolutely materialistic. And now we are talking about a spiritualism being inculcated. So now these two things, these contrast, can they meet?
Well, first of all, I don't agree with they're at total opposites of the spectrum. I don't believe that. I believe that there are grades of spiritualism, and of course I think there's also grades of commitment to capitalism and to the corporate world. My belief is that in order for us to sustain human life as we know it, in order for businesses to sustain themselves, I think if we look at those corporations that have been built to last, I think you will find a certain sense of spiritualism in those corporations. I think you'll find, and there's some basic commonalities in terms of how you treat people and how you allow people to be in touch, with their inner being and with their inner selves. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive at all. I think in terms of any viable, sustainable life for an individual or life of a corporation, I think there has to be some marriage of the spirituality and the capitalism or corporation or whatever you have it. Not mutually exclusive. Don't have to be.
And what next, Dr. Henry, with these two organizations, your and ours, University of California and the School of Management Sciences, from this, which we started together, where do we go next?
Well, I think that we're going to be looking beyond just student exchanges and, of course, continuing our support of this conference. We're going to be looking to get faculty from the two institutions more engaged and in collaborative research and in collaborative projects that can be structured in such a way to solve global and critical problems in our world today. We are here. One of the reasons I'm here today is that we're going to be expanding our commitment and our partnership with the School of Management Sciences, and we'll build on what has already been a very successful partnership thus far.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. I hope you enjoy to stay here in Varanasi. Once again, welcoming you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.